And we're going to get started. We're going to welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to Rise, our virtual event on Friday morning. So this is our first event of February. We're excited to have everyone here. We've got lots of people in the waiting room on Zoom. We've got people tuning in on Facebook, and we've got people tuning in on YouTube. Excited about all of that. We're letting people in the waiting room now. So good morning to everyone. We're glad you're here. We have got an exciting lineup of information today. Lots of things that are happening in the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in North Alabama. Lots of great and exciting opportunities for you to strengthen your small business and connect, collaborate, and grow here in North Alabama and around the country. Because we had the opportunity to go virtual, we have people tuning in from other states in the country that are interested in what we're doing here in North Alabama. So that's a great opportunity. Another one of the in the midst of this pandemic, there's always something positive that we can look to. And that is one of the things that I choose to look to as a little bit of making a positive out of a negative. This is the situation we're in. And so why not find ways to look for that silver lining? And so I'm excited about that opportunity. It actually helps us move toward a more global approach to what we're doing, because entrepreneurship isn't just local. We can interact and collaborate with one another no matter where we are, across state lines, even internationally. And I know some of us that are here on this call are doing business across state lines and internationally. So this is a great opportunity to take Rise to that level so that we can be not just focused in one area, but helping people stretch their wings and collaborate with people in other areas of our country and our world. All right. So with that, I am going to switch over and all right, we are rocking and rolling. Nothing like a Friday morning to have a little bit of a hiccup, but hey, it's in a virtual world and technology is grand sometimes. But good morning, everyone. My name is Vicki Morris. I am your host and program director for Rise Regional Innovators Sustaining the Ecosystem. We are so glad that you're here this morning with us, and we've got a lot to cover and great information for you to help you as you grow your small business. All right. We do want to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. So if you would drop your name and company name in the chat or in the comments, we would love to be able to connect with you. There may be someone on the call that is joining us either on Facebook, on YouTube, or here on Zoom that wants to connect with you, and they just haven't had the opportunity, or they've been looking for your website and weren't able to find it. So if you want to drop your URL in the chat, that would be awesome. If you want to tell us on Facebook, put a link, tag your business in your comment on Facebook, that would be great, because we're here to connect, collaborate, and grow together as an entrepreneurial ecosystem here in North Alabama. So we do hope that you will take advantage of that opportunity. And if you have questions throughout our presentation, let us know. We would love to be able to answer those questions. If you have a question for me, if you have a question for Steve, if you have a question in general about what we're doing or the programs and opportunities that we are working with, please drop that information in the chat. If we don't get to it live, I can see the chat. It's going to give me a report of all the chat, and I can follow up with you after the broadcast. So excited to be able to do that, and excited to have so many of you with us this morning. All right. So we'll move on to our next slide. We have some great new sponsors this year. We're excited about that. We've partnered with these companies that I use often in the things that I do for my own business and for Rise and for organizations that I consult with. Pixie Stock is a great mechanism. It's a great uh, organization that gives you great stock images for lots of content that you want to build. Great stock images that you probably won't be able to find on Adobe and other platforms, but these are images and content that help you build great graphics for your business. We also are working with lead pages and let's see, it skips a lot. Okay, there we go. Lead pages and go back one more. There we go. And ConvertKit. We're working with all of these companies and they are partnering with Rise and face-to-face marketing. And if there's an opportunity that you have to do business with any of these, we highly encourage that. And later on another slide, we have information with links to these organizations that can help you with the way you market and promote your small business. And as always, we do want to say a very special thank you to our financial contributing sponsors, ISBA, the Interactive Startup Business Application, the PIL Method, Computer Troubleshooters, Innovate Huntsville, and I2C. All of these organizations help us tremendously by being supporters and contributors to what we do at Rise, and we are very thankful for their participation and belief in what we do. One of one of the things that I am excited about bringing back is our newsletter. I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of studying in making sure that I am on the cutting edge of all things going on in communication and branding. And one thing that I have uncovered, just for me personally, over the past year, is the power of a great newsletter. So we are bringing the newsletter back. We're changing the focus of our weekly email. So lots of content is coming, and one of those emails that come during the month is going to be a newsletter. And in particular, check your emails on Monday because the newsletter for February is scheduled to hit your inbox on Monday. Great content, great information, and it's short and sweet, digestible chunks. You don't have to spend a long time reading everything, but it's all right there. And if you have content that you would like to share about your business, about an event, about different things that are going on, a conference or a seminar or a webinar that you feel the Rise audience could get value out of, let us know and we'll put it in the newsletter. So check it out. Be sure to be on the lookout for that. It should be hitting your inbox Monday morning. So because it is something fairly new, we want you to go and search in all the folders that you have, search in your promotions, the social posts, the update section if you have Gmail, and all of those, that email might be hiding in one of those areas. So the more you open our emails, the more you will train your email provider to know that the emails coming from Rise are important and you want to know that information. So please be on the lookout for that. And like I was saying before, if you have announcements, we want this to be a hub of information for all things small business. If there are things going on in the entrepreneurial community that we need to know about, even if it's a ribbon cutting, if it's a virtual ribbon cutting, or seminars that are going on that can be of benefit to our audience, please let us know. We'd love to share that information. And I've got some of that very same information that we're going to share later on in our time together this morning. So stay tuned. Like I said, we've got lots of great information to share, lots of great content that is coming your way. Another thing that we're doing this year for Rise, we are partnering with SCORE. We've done it before in the past, but we have a more refined approach in how we're partnering with them. SCORE is an organization that offers mentoring. And mentoring is big for me this year. You'll hear me talking about that a lot, but mentoring is something that we all should be taking advantage of. Now, some of us here are startup businesses and money is tight. You don't have those discretionary funds to invest in a paid mentor relationship. SCORE has people ready and waiting that can mentor you no matter what stage of business you're in, no matter what industry you're in. And because we are virtual now, you can be mentored by someone in, in California. If they are the right fit for you in where the stage you are in business and the industry that you're in, SCORE will match you up with a mentor that is just right for you and help you along the path of growth for your small business. So we definitely want to encourage you to take advantage of that. We'll send out some links on that, but the website is score.org. You simply put in your zip code and your name and contact information, and they will get you signed up with a mentor that is going to help you reach your goals. And so for many of you, you already know that I host a very similar webinar for SCORE every other week. It's called a Circle of Mentors. I hope that you all are all tuning in or catching the replay. We're talking a lot about mentoring and things and with tips, tools, and strategies that are going to help you grow your small business and help you reach the level of success that I know that you're looking to do. Because why else would you be in business if you weren't trying to be successful? And we're all on a learning path. It's all about learning. And one of the ways that we can learn is to have someone help us with that and hold us accountable for what we're learning and putting that into practice in our business. We're also going to be launching the Rise and Grind Boot Camp. And this is an intense rapid fire workshop series for the startup business. And this helps you get set to grow. We're going to talk about all of the things that you need to have in place, your business structure, your marketing, how you need to do HR. And yes, you need to be thinking about these things as you're starting. Getting your license, what type of business structure you're going to be in, setting up that accounting, getting your business banking account, all of these things that can just flood you with anxiety when you're starting a business, but you need to get them done. And sometimes it's not that we don't want to get them done, we just don't know how to get them done, who to ask for help, where to get these things taken care of. So we're going to talk about all of those things in the Rise and Grind Bootcamp. We also have the Rise and Shine Mastermind. This is for business owners who have had a little bit of experience. They've been in the game for a few years. They've gotten the fundamentals taken care of, but now they're ready to scale. They're ready to grow, and they need a little bit of guidance, accountability, and assistance in getting to that next level. That's what this mastermind group is all about. We'll be launching these next month. Lots more information is coming on that. So if you or someone that you know could benefit from these, please forward this to them. And one of the things that we're going to do as a follow-up to this event, we're going to send you these slides with all of the relevant information, all the important information that you need to be able to put your hands on quickly. We're going to send these slides to you for everyone that has registered or has engaged with some of the emails that we've been sending out. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to send that out after our event this morning. All right. So I was telling you about some great information, great seminars that are coming up. This is one of them. Grow with Google. Google is partnering with Rise and SCORE to bring this seminar to the state of Alabama. SCORE is working with Google on this as we are with Rise. Rise is going to be the North Alabama representative for this event that is happening. It's a free event. However, you do need to register. How you can register, there's a QR code right here. I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but right here is a QR code, and you just hold your phone up to the screen, let it focus on that QR code, and it will give you a link. Click the link and register for the event. We would love for Google to see how many people from North Alabama are registering for this event. This event is going to be Tuesday, February 23rd at 10 a.m. It's virtual, so you can watch from anywhere. Even if all you have time to do is listen in, great information. It is straight from Google. And let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to learn there. The event is how to reach and engage with customers online to continue to generate leads, make sales, and grow revenue. It's led by Deming Bass, who is a Google supported trainer. And this is a can't miss webinar that includes ideas and strategies on how to market online during the COVID-19 crisis. You'll learn best practices for creating a free Google My Business profile and how to engage with customers. This is huge. This is something free that Google offers to every business owner, but you would be amazed at how many people don't take advantage of it. Google is going to tell you step by step how to do it and the best practices for it. You also get tips on improving your website's visibility in Google's organic search results on all devices. So if you've ever heard anybody talk about SEO, if you've ever heard me mention SEO, that's what this is. They're going to walk you through the processes of optimizing your search engine results when people search for you. This is huge. And this is all about organic reach. And they're going to tell you about best practices for content marketing, social media marketing, and email marketing, especially during COVID-19 crisis, and advertising your business on Google through smart campaigns. Did you know that you can use Google like a social media platform? People always search Google for things that they're looking for. Google has figured out how to help businesses with their marketing. This is huge. This is something, 99% of what they're going to be talking about is free services. Yes, they're going to ask you about buying ads with Google, but buying ads is not a bad thing. It is something to consider, especially as everything is going online. All eyes are online. So I hope that I have talked long enough to let you focus in and get registered on this event. It's happening Tuesday, February 23rd. I will be there. I will be watching. I will be taking notes. And I hope that you and your organization, your team members, your employees, your coworkers will take advantage of this. So please register. And once you register, share it with other people. I'm going to share this out with the actual link in the emails that follow up with this event. So please, please, please get registered for that, because this is some game-changing content that I want to take advantage of for myself personally. And I definitely want you to be able to take advantage of it as well. Now, some of the things that we're going to focus on this year just real quick, we're going to be talking about tools, tips, and strategies to help you grow your business, business tools. We're going to talk about legal matters. We're going to talk about business accounting. And these are just some of the things that come up as we're trying to run our business. There's an aspect of doing business to sustain our client base and work on client work, but we also have to take care of the structure of our business. That's very important, because if we don't have those fundamental pieces in place, then all the work that we're doing to secure client work becomes fruitful because our infrastructure is not in place. So I want to make sure that we're doing things to make sure our infrastructure for our businesses is solid and in place. And it's always a good idea to revisit these things from time to time. And that's one of the things we want to focus on this year with Rise. We hope everyone will have an opportunity to get their Rise mug. I'm looking for mine on my desk. And here we go. Here is my Rise mug. I hope that everyone will find an opportunity to get their Rise mug. You can purchase it on our website and pick it up at our office, touch-free pickup, and all the proceeds go to help support what we're doing here with Rise. So our presenter for today, I am excited to have Steve Levy. He is going to be our presenter today. We're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk about a lot of things about mentoring and advising, and just having some accountability with your business as you grow. I'm excited about this conversation because I have had a mindset shift, which is something we'll talk about too, on about mentoring and advisement and ways to help businesses grow. I've done a lot of research. I have expanded my view on that. And I'm thinking I'm probably not the only one that had the view that I did. And so this is going to be a great conversation to expand the horizons of what is possible for your small business. Now, just as a means of introduction, Steve sent me his bio, and I've known Steve for a while, but I chose to pick out some things that I didn't know to tell you in his bio. So Steve grew up in New York City. Didn't know that. He has a BS degree in industrial technology from Lowell Technological Institute and an MBA from Bryant College. Prior to starting his business, now listen to this. This is Steve is a big shot, and I'm going to tell you exactly why he is. He has been crushing it for years. So prior to starting his business, he worked for two large corporations, Texas Instruments and then Cooperwell Corporation. He held a variety of positions in manufacturing, business analysis, sales and marketing, and business unit management. For the last 12 of his 20 years at Cooperwell, he held senior level management positions, 5 years as VP of Marketing and Sales, and 7 years as VP and General Manager. Now, here's the good part. As VP and General Manager, he was responsible for a business unit with annual sales, here it comes, of over $150 million. He oversaw 3 factory locations, 2 in the US, 1 in the UK, and over 200 employees, and did business in over 60 countries. Steve knows his stuff. Steve knows what he's talking about. So that is another reason why we're so excited to have him here. Now, when I met Steve, it was with the Madison Chamber when he was serving in his role as a board member, which he served from 2010 to 2016, and has served as board president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, all during his term on the board for the Madison Chamber of Commerce. He is also the president of ABANA, which from 2015 to 2019, which is a Southeastern Association of Business Advisors. He has provided training and education classes in partnership with the Madison Chamber of Commerce, the Huntsville Chamber of Commerce, UAH, and Alabama A&M Small Business Development Centers, or SBDCs, and he is accredited by the Institute for Independent Business. So, wow, that is a lot of great things that Steve has done, and he's here to share his insights with us. So, welcome to the hot seat, Steve. We're glad to have you.
I'm glad
So,
to
I
be here.
do want to start off. If you could just tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, so as I like to tell folks, I spent 28 years in the corporate world, growing and learning all the things I would need to do for a second career that I didn't know I was going to want or need. Uh, for me, 2006 was a pretty significant year. That was my last year with Copperweld, and as most of you know from things that you read and see in the corporate world, one day the owners of a company decide that a certain business is no longer strategic, and that's what they decided with mine, and decided they needed to sell it. So uh, I was integral in the sale process, but when the sale process was complete, I no longer had my corporate position because the company that acquired my business didn't need me. They had people to run it, so my role was over. So knowing that I was too young to do nothing, I initially thought I'd go find that next corporate position, but the sale of the company left me in a position financially where I could be very choosy about what I decided to do, and wasn't happy with the choices and opportunities that were out there for me. But after I don't know, about 6 or 8 months of looking for that next position, I got calls from companies from the industry I came out of looking for consulting help. And so in 2007, I did several assignments in the industry I came out of, and decided that consulting might not be a bad way to go, but I knew I needed to add some things to it. So in my bio, Vicki mentioned the Institute for Independent Business. That is an international accreditation body, which is made up of folks like myself, senior executives from all walks of life. And they do two things for us. One, verify we have the business skills, and then secondly, show us how to translate those skills into working with entrepreneurs in your local community. So after getting that accreditation at the end of 2007, I opened up my local practice here in the greater Huntsville area in January of 2008.
All right. Very interesting. So we talked, you mentioned about the pivotal moment that you knew you were going to start your business. So now, as you are working with business owners, how do you help them? What can they look to when they come to you for assistance?
Okay, so most business owners I have found typically got into their business for at least one of the following three reasons. They either had a passion about something, they had a technical skill, or they just got tired of working for a living for someone else, and they make the leap of faith and they go. Now, the national statistics still apply. Most of them do fail. There's just no way around that. But a lot of them do get successful enough to the point where they start to get some meaningful revenues. They add employees, maybe they open up a second location, and all of a sudden that individual, that owner, has to transition out of being what I call the all-knowing doer, and then become a true manager of their business. And that's a whole different skill set. And most of these folks have just never had those experiences. So they are often extremely strong in one or two key areas, and then everything else they have to learn the hard way. And this is where I can help them. I can help them bridge the gaps in areas that they struggle with, which again can be things like marketing strategy, sales strategy. It can be the organization structure of the business. It could be the overall mission that they're trying to accomplish. The employee management is an area that a lot of business owners struggle with because they think it's easy, but it's not. It's really hard. And then, interacting with all of the other parties that you need to make your business work, your accounting, your human resources, all of those things they typically don't have knowledge of. And I can either help them or get them connected with people that can help them.
Okay. So one of the things that I have focused on a lot with my clients in particular is an ideal client. And I've heard business advisors and business coaches and mentors talk about the ideal client avatar. So what is your opinion on how do you help people find that ideal client avatar? What is that conversation like with clients that you work with?
Okay, so every business does have an ideal client. I always hate when someone says no job too big, no job too small, we'll go anywhere and everywhere. I mean, we all have limits to what we can do. So I always try to get them to dial it down to who they want to serve. One of the things that I learned early on in my corporate career is that you want to do business with people who have money, okay? Because for all of us, we have often ventured out into the business world and we find lots of clients, but guess what? They don't have the kinds of resources that they need to pay for your product or service. So you want to be able to define what that economic profile looks like. You want to define what that demographic profile looks like, and really dial it down so that when you deliver your message, you're doing it over the right medium and you're using the right language and visuals to get their attention.
Right. And so that's one of the things that I have done. I have given my avatar a name. She has a persona so that I know exactly who I'm talking to, exactly what they're thinking, how they're thinking, what motivates them to take action. And so that's one of the things that I think a lot of business owners don't take the time to really, really flush out. And that can save them a lot of time and energy to keep them from going in the wrong direction and stay on a certain path. So that's one of the things that I definitely want to focus on a lot this year, because I've just seen it so many times where that's just, yeah, we serve everybody. Who's your client? Everybody, anybody. Not really. So if you serve
Nobody.
everybody, you serve nobody. So yeah, so that's great information. So when is a business owner ready to work with you? I'm thinking it's probably not somebody starting up because number one, they don't have any money. But what does their mindset need to be before they work with someone like you?
Okay, usually there's a pivotal event that occurs in their business when they reach a point where they're either exhausted, they're tired of working 80 hours a week and not having the money in the bank account that they thought they would have. Their spouse or partner is saying, I never see you. You're always at work, and even when you're home, your mind is on your work, your business. So it is usually an aha moment that owner will have, where they'll say, you know what, I really need somebody to talk to about this, and that's when it works. Because I will tell you that I've been doing this thing for coming up on 13 years, or actually just a little over 13 years now. And believe it or not, at the end of last year, I roped in a client that I had been talking to in casual settings for the full 13 years. And he finally decided, you know what, maybe it's time. So,
Wow.
but again, it's usually a frustration that gets them to the point that they need that person to work with. And as I like to say, it's somebody that they can talk to, that they trust. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of moving parts in every business. Those of you on the call that are owners, you know what I'm talking about. You get bombarded with information in lots of different directions, and a lot of it is conflicting. And it's just good to have someone to talk to, that you can talk and say out loud your thoughts, your ideas, and get feedback on what it is that you want to do. And then that feedback will tell you that, yeah, that's a great idea, let's go do it. Or you know what, you need to fine tune it. And then just as importantly, do you have the wherewithal to execute on your plan? Because as we all know, there's no shortage of great ideas. It's the execution where it usually falls down. And you can't execute well on everything. So it's deciding what are the couple of three things that are significant for your business that you need to do differently. And then how do I do that?
Now, one of the things that I think I've heard, you're the guy that can help a business owner make those tough decisions. I'm not making enough money. Well, how many employees do you have? What are they doing? Have you assigned their jobs? How does that conversation go? And how does that when they have that hesitancy about, man, I don't want to do this with my employees. I don't want to cut jobs. I don't want to cut time. I don't want to do these things for my employees. How do you power through that? And how do you deal with that on a personal level?
Okay, so it's easier to do with the clients that I've been working with for a little while, where we built up a lot of trust and we've already had some successes. But I always remind them, there's a reason why you called me in the first place. It wasn't to tell you that you're doing everything perfectly, and that if you just keep on doing it, conditions will get better and your business will improve, because it just doesn't work that way. So for me, this is the hardest part of my job, is when I have that conversation, because the owner has hired me to do something different. Okay. But if I don't push them enough, nothing changes, they don't get results, and the engagement will come to a close. On the flip side, if I push them too hard to do something they're totally uncomfortable doing, again, the engagement will come to a close. So I'm always walking that fine line where with pushing them hard enough to get some tangible results, but not so hard that I make them uncomfortable.
Okay. Yeah. And I know that's got to be a tough road to hoe, because it's, you have to push them out of their comfort zone, because once they get out of that, then that's when the possibilities can come about. So with accountability, that's something that I have been doing a lot of study on, just being able to have that accountability partner and knowing that you have to answer to somebody for what needs to happen. How do you do that with your business, and how do you advise clients, or people that are on our call today? How would you advise them about the necessity of having accountability?
Okay, so accountability is what makes all this work. It's probably the most important part of the process. So you as the owner, you have accountability not only to your business and your family, but you have it to your employees. And if you're asking your folks to do things and get them done in a certain way by a certain time, on the flip side, you have to get your things done in the correct way and in a certain time frame. So the old lead by example. But if you're doing those things and you have the ability to do it on your own, great. But what I have found is, because again, the owners are pulled in so many different directions, they tend to start a lot of things but never finish them. And it sends a terrible message to not only their employees, but in a lot of cases to their customers, and the whole image that they're portraying to the marketplace. So with a number of my clients, the accountability piece is the big part that I provide, which is they know I'm coming in on Friday, and they know they had 4 things that they were supposed to have completed by that day. And if they don't have it, they know that Steve's not going to take any of those excuses as to why it wasn't done. And we're going to talk about what has to change, what has to happen to get it completed and get it done.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Let's see. So I do want to ask about, so you're a business advisor. Is that the same thing as a mentor and a coach, or is that different, or is there a gray area in between all of that?
Okay, there's certainly some gray, but I'll give you sort of my delineation of the things, and I chose the term advisor for mine. So the three terms that I've always run across in this line of work is either business consultant, business advisor, or business coach. And in my simplistic view, the consultant I think of is the folks I dealt with when I was in the corporate world, where a SWAT team of 25-year-olds would come in and they would spend a week inside of your business, and they'd talk to everybody, and then they'd go off for a couple of days, and then they'd come back with this fancy presentation and leave you with this book that's about 200 pages long with all kinds of charts and graphs. And basically all they've done is regurgitated back to you what your business is already doing. And then they come up with like a couple of pages of, okay, so here's some areas you need to improve on. And they give it to you and they say, good luck with the implementation, and you never see them again. And to me, that was the biggest waste of money we ever spent as corporations over the years. To me, the advisor is the one that I settled in on, because I want to be, and I use the term trusted advisor, somebody that they can talk to, somebody that they can run any issue by me. And not only is it business related, occasionally it's personal related as well, because that helps give me the background as to why they're struggling with whatever that issue is, because I do really get to know them. Business coach, I always think of as in terms of, someone who's sort of the cheerleader on the sideline. And Vicki, you and I were talking before this started, if you as an owner need somebody to get you pumped up to run your business and do your job, you probably need to rethink whether you want to continue being a business owner or not. Because the business owners that are successful have got to always have that internal energy to get them up in the morning, to get them go in, put the smiling face on, and cheer on their organization, but they don't need anybody to cheer them on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the mentor to me is a whole different thing. That's again, someone that you trust that can give you insight either on the technical aspects of your job or on the what I call the softer skills. But how do you develop leadership skills? How do you think strategically? How do you develop a vision for your business? Those are the things where the mentors can really help.
Yeah, and so that's been huge for me, being able to understand those differences and how those can help me in my business. One of the things that just watching football one day, I'm Alabama fan because I'm here in Alabama, but I was watching football and I was like, Nick Saban chooses elite athletes from all over the country. These guys are at the top of their game in their high school careers. So these aren't people that need to be told that, oh, you've got great skills and all of that. But he's got all of these elite athletes, but he's coaching them. He's helping them get better. So when that revelation hit me, I was like, okay, this is not something, having a mentor or a coach for your business is not because you need a cheerleader. It's because you need somebody to hold you accountable. It's because you need somebody to push you out of your comfort zone to help give you direction on what to do, when to do. So that's been huge for me. I have totally shifted my mindset on a lot of those things concerning coaches and mentors for my business. And so my next question for you, Steve, is can someone outgrow their business advisor or their mentor? Do you stay with the same person the whole time in your business, or is there a point when you as a coach or the advisor or the client need to say, I think we've outgrown this and we need to do something different? How does that work? And is that something that actually happens?
Yeah, it absolutely, it happens all the time. I mean, you brought up the sport analogy. There's a lot of coaches, and the reason they get fired a lot of times is the team needed a different voice in the locker room. And the same thing can happen with someone you use as an advisor or a coach or even a mentor, that you've kind of covered the things, you've brought them up to a certain level, but now they're trying to get to a different level. And perhaps the message that they're getting from that advisor, that mentor, is not enabling them or allowing them to get to that next level. So they'll try someone else. There's plenty of folks in this community that provide these types of services. They have different areas of expertise, and depending upon, again, what that owner is trying to do, they may need a different voice. Now, I've had client engagements that have run as long as 5 years, but I've also had some that have only run a few months to a year. So it just depends upon that, again, that relationship and that trust factor that gets built between the owner and that advisor.
Okay. So in the years that you've been doing this, what kinds of things have you seen young business owners, young in the ownership of their business, what have you seen them doing that you wish they would not do?
Okay, so I'll give you one. There are many, but the
Yes.
biggest thing I see with a lot of the younger folks is they gather up some of their best friends or immediate family members and they say, hey, what a great idea I've got. Let's all go into business together. And all of a sudden, you now have either your best friend or a family member that after a couple of years, the two of you don't talk to each other outside of the workplace. You can't stand being around each other. And even worse, sometimes you need to fire one of them, but you just don't have the courage to do it. So my suggestion is, as much as you can, avoid the friends and family approach to setting up your business, because it can be one of the worst outcomes if things don't go right.
Awesome. So Jay has a great follow-up question on there. It says, what are the top 3 areas that your clients are concerned about? What are their pain points in general? If you had to pick 3 pain points that your general client base has,
All
what
right,
would you say?
yeah, so Jay, that's a great question. The 3 things I'm going to talk about are the 3 what I call symptoms inside of their business, not the root cause, but the symptoms that will get them to actually say, you know what, Steve, I need to meet with you. So first and foremost is either a lack of profitability or a lack of cash. So that's a very common one I get called in on. The next one is the owner has no time. And then the third one is the organization makes repetitive mistakes. And Vicki, if we have a moment, let me just give you my real quick common problems in each of those areas. The lack of cash and profitability comes from 2 key areas. One, they tend to underprice or undervalue the product or service that they offer. And in turn, more business just makes them lose more money faster. So that's usually not a good approach. The second thing that's part of that is a lot of these businesses will give credit terms to their customers, and then they don't enforce it or police it. And they end up having clients that owe them, 90, 120 days worth of invoices, and it kills their cash flow. So that's that one. The lack of time is a delegation issue. Most of these business owners, they've been making all the decisions from day one, and they get very uncomfortable when someone else makes a decision without their input, knowledge, and approval. And so that's the, getting comfortable with delegating down and ultimately putting in a leadership team into your business. And then the last one, the repetitive mistakes, is just, it's a lack of systems and processes inside the business. And there is very poor communication in terms of what the owner is looking for the business to do and how it's to go about doing it versus what the employees perceive as what is expected when they do their job. So those would be the 3 areas.
Awesome. Great insight there. So now I want to ask you, what has been your biggest win as a business owner since you've been doing this on your own with SEL and Associates? What's been your greatest success story?
Okay, so my greatest success, the thing that makes me smile when I feel I've done something good, is when a client I am working with, and it's going to be in one of 2 categories. They either will come to me with their epiphany and they'll say, Steve, I've got this great idea and here's what we need to go do. And it's been the thing I've been telling him for weeks, months, years, and they've all of a sudden embraced it and decided it was their own idea. That always makes me feel good. The other one that's actually even a little better is when I'll have a client where the engagement has come to its natural conclusion, and then a year or 2 later, I get a call from them and they'll say, Steve, those couple of things you said I needed to be doing, I think I'm ready to go do those now because you were right. We need to incorporate this into the business. Can you help me do it?
Great. Those have to make you smile there. So on the flip side of that, what's been the biggest lesson or the toughest pill you've had to swallow as a business owner?
Okay, so having come out of large organizations and always in positions where I had people that, again, I could delegate things down to and they could take care of and I didn't have to worry about them. Now I have to be responsible for everything. So when my computer acts up, I have to be in my own IT department, and that's probably one of my biggest frustrations. But it's all the little things that I used to be able to have other people go do that I have to do myself. And I'm getting better at it. I'm also learning how to do something that I always encourage my clients to do, which is I outsource some of the things that I'm not comfortable doing because I don't have the knowledge or the expertise. And then other things I have learned how to take care of them.
Yeah, that was when I first started making enough money. I promised myself as soon as I can afford it, I am hiring an accountant because I can't stand doing bookkeeping and accounting. And so that was one of the very first things I outsourced. Yeah, I completely hear you on that. I would much rather have someone that knows what they're doing to handle it and can do it in 20 minutes than me struggling to do it and take 2 hours. And I've lost 2 hours of billable time that I could be doing client work. So yeah, that is definitely a definite one there. I want to talk about funding. That's something that a lot of small businesses struggle with when they're starting out, about how they should fund. Should they be bootstrapping? Should they consider getting a business loan? And sometimes a business loan from a bank has been frowned upon, but I want to know your thoughts on that. When is it appropriate, and is that something that should be considered?
Yeah, well, look, lack of funding or lack of capital for a business is one of the major reasons most of these smaller businesses fail. So one of the things I always encourage the folks that are getting started is go find yourself not a bank, but find yourself a business banker who can actually give you some advice and help on how to do things. One of the biggest problems a lot of these smaller businesses will do is the time they go looking for money is when they're desperate. And that is the worst time to go look for it. And in fact, in most cases, when they show their financial information, not only will the banks not touch them, but none of the secondary markets will touch them either. So the time to get a business line of credit or an actual business loan is when you're actually doing okay. That's the time to get it, because you can't get it when you're really struggling. Now, as far as the very early stages, when you don't have a lot of revenue coming in, you've either got to have your own financial resources, or you're going to have to get somebody that's willing to fund you to carry you through, because it's very hard to make a business work if you don't invest in the things that you need, the tools, the materials, the people, whatever the things are that you've got to have that are the basics of your business. So that one's a little tougher, but you've got to find a way to get that funding. And again, whether you've got a rich uncle or somebody that you trust that's willing to invest a little bit in you, but that's what you've got to do.
Okay, and then one other question I want to ask you about structure. When people are looking to start their business, do you ever advise someone on going into a partnership? We talked about working with family and all of that, but I'm talking like a formal partnership. I'm going into business with my friend, and we're going to create a formal partnership. Or do you advise them to stay as um, uh, a sole proprietor, or go a LLC, a S corp, C corp? How do you advise people on those different aspects?
Okay, so when you go into a partnership, think of it as a marriage, but different than a marriage. You will get divorced at some point in the future. It's going to happen, because the partners are going to be at different points in their life, different financial situations, different family situations. And when the time comes that one of them wants to get out, if it's not been predetermined in the initial setup of the company, you're going to fight over it, because the one leaving is going to want more money than the one that's got to pay it is willing to pay or has the wherewithal to pay. So the thing that I always suggest, if you're going to go into that relationship, you have to have, and again, it depends whether you're a corporation or whether you're going to be an an S corp versus a C corp versus an LLC. But the key thing here is you have to have either an operating agreement or a bylaws. You have to have either the bylaws or the operating agreement, and inside of those, you have to have the provisions for the buy sell. What are the triggers, and then what are the methods of how you're going to value the business, and you got to decide how you're going to fund it. There are things like key man insurance as an example that you can purchase that can help fund that. But other times you may need other funding mechanisms to do it. So it makes it much more complex. My general advice is, if you don't really need that partner, don't have a partner, because you're going to have problems down the road. And the worst scenarios I've seen is where they do everything 50-50. So no one's in control. So you can't get any major decisions made.
Yeah, that was some advice that I was given years ago. I was first going to start face-to-face marketing as a partnership with someone, and I got some advice, and this was from a lawyer. They told me, if you don't have to, don't do it, because those very reasons, somebody needs to be in control. And so it meant more work for me to do on my own, but I am so happy that I own my business outright. If it sinks or swims, it's all on my back. It's me doing that. So that's some very, very good advice. All right. So I have some rapid fire questions I want to ask you. And this is just kind of personal. So sports fan or not?
Yes, I'm a sports fan.
Alabama, Auburn.
Alabama.
All right.
But my daughter
Music.
did graduate from Auburn, so.
Well, I understand that. I'm from Georgia, but as long as Georgia is not playing Alabama, I'm an Alabama fan. Okay, so music on or off while working?
It's off.
Okay, all right. So, are you most productive? What's your most productive time or day? Morning person or night owl?
I'm a morning person.
All right. Well, this has been a great conversation, Steve. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience today?
Nothing specific. The only thing I will mention is that in addition to the business advising I do with my clients, I do facilitate a CEO roundtable. I've got a couple of my participants in that group on this call today. But if folks have an interest in that, that's another way to get that group mentoring with some facilitation.
All right, that is great. And if that is something that is of interest to you, I would highly recommend having Steve, being a part of Steve's group. He's going to hold you accountable. He's going to give you some insights. He's going to push you a little bit, but it's going to be in a direction that is going to help you grow. I've known Steve over the entire time, even before I started my business, and he's watched my business mature over the years, and my level of confidence increase as I do business as well. And so I definitely consider Steve a true friend, and I'm very excited that he took the time to be able to speak with us today. Let's see, what was the certification? Okay, so Jay asked, what was the certification organization you mentioned earlier, Steve?
Called the Institute for Independent Business.
Yes, and all of that, I have that in Steve's bio that is going to be sent out to everyone after this call. So definitely thank you for that. I do want to follow up. There's a few things I want to let everyone know about. So I'm going to try to go back and share my screen. Is everybody seeing my screen now?
Not yet.
All right. It ain't come up yet. Still not seeing it. Okay. Well, not sure why that is not working, but we will power through that anyway. So one of the things that I focus on this year for my business is email marketing. That is one of the things that has a lot of businesses have an email list, but are not actively using that. So I've got a lead. Well, it is a freebie. It is a tip sheet on doing your email marketing. And I want to share that with everyone and make sure that you have the opportunity to just get some free tips, tools, and strategies to grow your email list. And those are some things that we're going to share with our audience. Let's see. Hopefully I can get this back to sharing before we end this, but it's a free tip sheet that we want to make available to everyone so that you can grow your email list and your audience as well. Let's try this one more time.
All right, you got it.
How about now? There we go. All right. Now, are we still seeing it? Yes. All right, cool. So again, there's a QR code, scan that code, and you can grab our free email tip sheet. And I promise you, these are things that you can put into place today to make a definite impact in your email marketing. And as we're talking about email marketing, we talked about the newsletter coming out Monday, and you'll be getting something in your email from Rise today following this event. So I'm not only telling you to do that as a possible client, but it is something I am doing myself. Also, this year, we are focusing on helping you grow your business in an effective way, making sure your offer is in line with something your audience actually needs. And Steve and I talked about that with the ideal client avatar, making sure you actually know who that person is. So this workshop is something that can help you determine that. It's a quick workshop to go through. There's a video and a workbook to help you go step by step through this process to make sure your audience and your offer are in alignment and that your audience is going to actually want what you are offering. And for you as a business owner, make sure that you are communicating your offer in a way that your audience will hear it. So those are very important things that I hope you'll take a chance to join us in that. Um, Innovate Huntsville. Steve and I were talking about this earlier. This is a celebration of the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in North Alabama and the spirit of innovation. Innovation is just a part of the fabric of Huntsville. And Innovate Huntsville Week is happening at the end of February, and we definitely hope everyone will take advantage of the opportunities to join in some of the events. Most of the events are free. There's going to be about 3, maybe 4 events every day, and you can go to the website for registration for each of the events. This year will be Innovate Huntsville's 6th year, and the event at its core shines a spotlight on the innovative spirit in Huntsville and North Alabama. Huntsville is known as the Rocket City, and the attraction it holds for science and engineering-minded professionals is undeniable. People from all over the nation and all over the world are looking at Huntsville for our innovative spirit here. So the innovative spirit that inhabits the very ground of Huntsville was planted decades ago with the space race. On a federal level, Alabama and Huntsville in particular have a significant place in the pages of history. And this is all what Innovate Huntsville is about. It's about reaching back and reflecting on that history and seeing how that history is going to impact our trajectory forward in our path of innovation. So lots of great events that are going to be happening. The Catalyst Center is going to host their annual Entrepreneur Awards. There's going to be an SBIR showcase. There's going to be a product launch, a program launch. The Chamber is going to do their Ignite panel. The event that we talked about, Grow with Google, is also going to be a part of Innovate Huntsville. And RISE actually partners with Innovate Huntsville every year to bring this event on. I am, as the RISE program director, I am actually on the steering committee for Innovate Huntsville and organizing this entire week of events. So I hope that you will take advantage of participating in a good handful of the events that are going on. So stay tuned for more information coming about events and registrations and dates and all of that. We'll have a press release. We'll have lots of content on social media for this event. And we definitely want to have a good showing of our RISE audience for all of the events going on with Innovate Huntsville. So thank you all for joining us this morning. This has been an exciting conversation. We are recording it, so we've got a lot of nuggets that have been in here, and it may or may not be enough to or too much to digest all at one time. So that's why we're recording it. Please watch it again. I know I am going to watch it again. I gain so much from each event that we have. It definitely helps my business grow and helps cultivate my business mindset toward the success that I want to reach as an individual. And I hope it's doing the same thing for you. If you'd like to connect with RISE, these are the platforms that we're on. We have a Facebook page, we have a YouTube channel, we have a LinkedIn page and Instagram. My name is Vicki Morris. I am the program director and host of Rise. Right now, our office is at 515 Sparkman Drive, which will soon be moving to the Innovate Huntsville Center downtown. I'll share more information with you on that in the days coming. Our office number is 256 489 0135. And of course, our website, therisegroupHSV.com. We've updated the website. We've got information about our speakers and future events. So I want to say thank you to everyone, and I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your Friday. And we will see you right back here in 2 weeks with another great conversation to help you grow your small business. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.